Welcome, class. Welcome to Unit 1. Now, I know what you must be thinking. Mr. N, we already finished Activity 1.1, so how can we be starting Unit 1 if we already finished the first activity? Well, maybe that's not what you're thinking. And anyways, 1.1 is an anomaly, an outlier. It was taken from Unit 1, and now it sits alone, all by itself, as a part of the introduction. So technically yes, but no. Now, if you're OCD about it and you really want Activity 1.1 to be a part of Unit 1, too bad. Get over it. Not everything fits neatly into a category. That's your first lesson. So, anyway, on to Unit 1, Logic. But first, here's my dog Finn again. As promised, he's got to be in every video. Isn't he cute? Yes. Philosophy sounds like a pretty cool and crazy subject, right? Philosophers talk about everything from reality to politics to art. So why are we starting with logic? For some of you, logic may sound pretty dull, right? Well, let me say A, it's not or it doesn't have to be, and B, we start with logic because it is the nuts and bolts of rational inquiry, which is at the heart of philosophy. To begin with, let me talk about two key philosophical questions. First of all, what is a rational argument? Now, the area of philosophy known as logic aims to answer this question by breaking down rational arguments into their most basic components. Just like a computer, our brains are hardwired to understand arguments logically, though we often make logical errors that a computer wouldn't make. Logic tries to make sense of the rules of language while highlighting fallacies, which are errors in logic that break those rules. In this unit, we will take a look at two types of rational arguments, deduction and induction. In fact, these are the only two types of rational argument as far as I'm aware. Sorry, I just had a phone call. Okay, question number 2. What is truth? Bear with me because my response to this question is going to be a bit of a rant. We will explore the concept of truth in more depth in a future unit called epistemology. But for now, it's important to recognize that whether we know it or not, we all have a concept of truth. We know there is a difference between, say, the truth and a lie. If I said, I am an imposter, I'm actually not your philosophy teacher this semester. I've kidnapped the real Mr. Nicholson and I have stolen his identity. Well, that would be a lie. Maybe it's a lie or maybe it's the truth. Only I can know for certain. Similarly, you know in most cases whether you are telling the truth or lying yourself. At the very least, we can say that there is a difference between lying and telling the truth. We can make that distinction. In my experience, students are often reluctant to make truth claims in philosophy, to say definitively that a belief that they hold is true. In essays, I often find arguments are qualified with, in my opinion, or my own personal view is that. And that's fine, but we should try to avoid that. Now, I can think of a couple reasons why this is the case. It may be because, as you read in the Russell excerpt, philosophy has trouble providing certain uncontroversial answers to questions. So the conclusion that some students come to is that this means no one is able to claim that anything is true, and every opinion is equally valid. I want to say right off the bat that this is a mistake. As harsh as this may sound, every opinion is not equally valid. If a young child and an expert mathematician were to provide different solutions to a math problem, whose opinion would you bet your life on? Clearly, the mathematician knows more about math than a young child, unless it's a young prodigy, right? It's not just a difference of opinion. And we can extend that logic to other areas of knowledge. I've heard students say, my truth is this, or my truth is that. But this, I think, misunderstands the meaning of truth as we mean it, as a concept that is distinct from belief or opinion. If something is true, it's not just true for you. It's true, period. It is uncontroversial, for instance, that 2 + 2 = 4. No one would disagree. And even if there was someone who disagreed, they can't just say, well, my truth is 2 plus 2 equals 5, but you can believe whatever you want. You're free to believe whatever you want. Now, no one is disputing the freedom of belief here. Of course, in a liberal democracy, people are free to believe whatever they want. But some beliefs are right and others are wrong. That's just the way it is. Some beliefs are logical and others are insane. It's not always easy to tell the difference between the two, but that doesn't mean that there is no difference. The issue is that you can't both be right. 2 plus 2 cannot equal both 4 and 5. It only equals 4, and that's the end of it. Now, this is a principle that some challenge, but I think it's an important principle. It's one called the law of non-contradiction, first articulated by Aristotle. This principle is essential for logic philosophy, and I think even thinking in general. It's pretty hard to deny. If everyone's personal truth were true, then no one would ever be wrong about anything. And this cannot be right, because of course we're wrong about things all the time. It must be possible for people to be wrong about their own beliefs. That's why we have the concept of truth to begin with. In the 1600s, Galileo Galilei used math and a telescope to prove that the Copernican heliocentric model of the solar system was the correct model. The Earth travels around the sun, not the other way around. Now, this was a major, major deal, and a lot of people did not believe him. But we can say that, beyond a reasonable doubt, Galileo was right. The geocentric model of the universe, the model that the Earth is at the center of the universe, is wrong. Still, it's crazy. My students last semester found a YouTube channel of a dead serious flat Earth conspiracy theory. No joke, there are people in the Western developed world who believe that the Earth is flat. That is why not every opinion is equal. This is why we need a standard of logic and factual evidence by which we can evaluate the truth. Welcome to Unit 1, Logic. I'll talk with you soon in our weekly Q&A.